All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to We Love Wrestling with your host Josh Edwards and Rusty Hensley. Rusty, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How about you, Josh?
You know what? I was about to say I can't complain, but life's been kind of hectic lately. But hey, they're still here.
It's always something. Never
Yeah.
nothing, always something.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
This isn't
It's not true though. It's not true at all. Anyways,
I've never been to Philly, so I can't.
I haven't either, but just I know it's not true.
I mean, it can't be. They have night, don't they? It's not Alaska.
Yeah. An eventful weekend.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, you and I watched Summerslam last night.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we try to watch together in person, but if we can't, we have a private Discord that we will jump on and watch the pay-per-views together. You know, I just thought about something that would be kind of cool to allow other people into that. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime in the future. If you guys would like to listen in and join us for pay-per-view viewings, let us know in the Facebook page. So, because I just thought about that might be something interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely something we should consider more in the future.
So, what's new with you, Rusty?
Oh man, nothing. Well, I mean, you know, just work.
Yeah, I feel you. Well,
There's always something.
I always say things like, "Oh yeah, I feel you," and then I'm like, "Wait a minute, I don't even have a fucking job right now."
Well, you know, it's always something that, you know, it's always like my house needs something worked on, or my car, or I got some big chore that needs done.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why I answered like that. I'm sorry. ADHD me, sometimes my brain is working on my response while somebody is talking, and then that ends up being like, yeah.
Wait a second.
Anyway.
Wait a second. I forgot to hear what they were actually saying.
Exactly. Which always ends well for podcasting. Anyways. So yeah, I'm hoping to join you on the whole my house needs repairs pretty soon, because I'm gonna try to buy a house soon. But in that pursuit, I am currently living in my sister-in-law's house, so that's fun.
Like the very first episode in one location, and then the rest from here on out, we're never gonna go there again.
Nope. I hope the audio was terrible there, and people are like, "Oh, the audio is so much better here." But I have a feeling it's the other way around.
No, actually, I feel like this place has pretty good acoustics.
That's
honestly.
good. That's good. So yeah, I'm looking for a house, and a lot going on, but not really a lot of interesting things going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing that
just a whole shit ton of mundane shit.
I know what you mean. That's.
I'll tell you what, there's going to be no cuts in this episode at all.
None whatsoever. On an unrelated note, kids these days have no respect.
I tell you, no respect.
They have no respect for their elders. I tell you, back in my day, we had respect. Respect.
Yeah.
No, the very concept of children misbehaving did not exist in our generation.
That's damn right. Damn right. No, I went quiet so you could hear my son in the back. So yeah, everybody, I apologize. I'm living with more people, so back. So that's probably enough banter. Maybe we should move on to like wrestling events, since there was a big event this weekend.
There was?
Yeah. Wasn't it In Your House?
Oh yeah, in your house. 54. Welcome back to Nick at Night's Full House Marathon.
Anyways, I feel like we should probably move on from the banter and cover the stuff that's been going on in WWE, especially SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show last night.
It was one hell of a show. It was WrestleMania quality, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, especially in the presentation. You know, when they that opening shot with what was, did you say his name was
Jelly Roll?
Jelly
Yeah.
Roll.
Rusty doesn't know who Jelly Roll is.
No, I don't follow the raps.
It's not rap. He's like a. It's hard to pin down his genre. He doesn't really have like a set genre, but he's definitely not rap.
I mean, I don't really. Honestly, I'm not a real big music guy in general.
That's fair.
I would say probably the most music I listen to is lo-fi. Honestly,
That's fair. That's fair. I listen to that a lot when I would study lo-fi hip hop beats to study to.
Yeah.
I could either fall asleep or study. Bottle popping. That's good podcasting. No,
Sorry.
it's fine. I'm just joking. No, you got to check out Jelly Roll. He's awesome. Also,
You were saying he's
one
a really
hell
good
of
guy.
a choke slam. What the fuck? That was like the best choke slam I've ever seen.
Well, I think was it Austin Theory?
Austin Theory sold the shit out of it for
Yeah,
sure.
I was gonna say not to rag on Jelly Roll, but I feel like that was more.
Oh,
Austin Theory.
It certainly was, but it all came together to be one of the best choke slams I've ever seen. Eat your heart out, Undertaker? What? Oh, man. It was a great show. A lot of surprises, a lot of not surprising surprises. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I get what you mean.
Rhea not retaining, it wasn't entirely unsurprising.
Let's
Rhea not winning.
Let's give a quick rundown of each show and anything important. It's okay. I got most of it memorized.
Okay.
Let's start with Rhea versus Liv. That opened up the show.
Yeah, I think it was a banger. To put it out there, I don't think there was a single bad match the entire night. I have a least favorite, but I don't think any of them were bad.
Yeah, I'd say the worst was probably just fine.
Yeah, which in my opinion was probably Braun versus
Sami Zayn. Yeah, that I would say it wasn't quite a squash, but it bordered on a squash.
Yeah, they kind of. Yeah. Anyways, we're going through the show, so let's do that.
Yeah, let's start with like I said, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan.
Oh my god.
Rhea sold the crap out of her shoulder.
Dude, it just made her look more badass, which I didn't even think was possible.
Yeah, I mean, she did just a phenomenal job on that. I mean, you and I both for that first minute or two were convinced that she actually
Dislocated her shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced she didn't for the show. You know, like you said last night, there are some people who can dislocate their shoulder and then pop it back in. I'm not convinced that she didn't do that.
I mean, we can't say for sure, honestly, and that's what makes it so impressive.
And can we talk about her shoulder in general? She's fucking huge. Holy shit, her shoulders are bigger than my entire biceps.
They're bigger than your head. What'd you think of the interference from Dom at the end?
The first bit of interference was where he stopped Rhea hitting Liv with a chair. I was like, holy shit, are we getting voice of reason Dom right now? What is going on? And then that second bit of interference. I saw it coming, but also I didn't. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
I knew it was probably going to happen, but it's still like, oh my god, he actually did it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of the Festival of Friendship a few years back between Jericho and Owens. You knew at some point Owens was going to turn on Jericho. but you weren't quite ready.
And that is
when it
facts,
happened.
because you knew it was going to be KO. KO is the one that turns on his friends every time.
Exactly.
Every time there's like a team of people, including Kevin Owens, I'm like, oh dear. Oh dear. Somebody's getting power bombed on the apron.
But overall, it was just a really solid match.
It was. People don't give Liv enough credit for being a solid worker.
Right.
Like everybody talks about how hot she is. Fair enough. But she's a solid performer.
Oh yeah, she's definitely more than just a pretty face.
I understand how some people are like, but it's not really believable when she wins over somebody like Rhea or Ronda. When she beat Ronda Rousey, I have to be honest. Even I was like, okay, come on.
Yeah, but the thing you gotta take into account with that though is a lot of, especially nowadays, a lot of the workers are smaller. So
yeah,
if you apply that same logic to pretty much everyone, then yeah, it's almost always unrealistic when the smaller person wins.
Yeah, but I understand. Listen, I was a huge Rey Mysterio fan back in the day. Still am. I still love the guy. And his whole thing is being small and still beating the shit out of people, right?
Right.
So I get it. It's just sometimes, especially when it's like somebody we know is legitimate, like Ronda Rousey, somebody we know could beat the shit out of anybody on the roster, and I'm talking anybody, it kind of takes it. That's why I'm not entirely crazy about like UFC fighters coming to the WWE, because for me that takes a little bit of the show out of it. Does that make sense?
I get where you're coming from, but I actually really like it when we see UFC fighters come, because they usually are a lot better at the selling and the smaller nuances, because they understand what looks better and what looks more realistic.
And they know what it feels like to get hit, so they know how to react. Yeah. I feel you there. Actually, back when I first started training for professional wrestling in 2006, I was on MySpace. And I actually messaged the real Ultimo Dragon. I was not expecting him to message me back, but he did. By the way, Ultimo Dragon, I didn't mention it. I don't know why. Did I mention it the first episode? Ultimo Dragon is my second favorite professional wrestler of all time. I don't know why I didn't mention Ultimo.
I knew that you. I know that you mentioned it to me before, but I don't think you mentioned it on the podcast.
Yeah, that was a big mistake on my part. Shawn Michaels is my favorite of all time, but Ultimo is a close second. That guy is fucking incredible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I actually messaged him. I was like, "Do you have any tips?" I didn't expect him to answer, but he's like, martial arts and I forget the other thing. But I remember that he told me to learn martial arts, and then I did not. Oh man, but it was cool that I got a message from him. But where was I going? Oh yeah, so I get how being a UFC fighter can help. I get that they're good at it, but it makes me think like, okay, how is Dominic Mysterio gonna fight fucking Brock Lesnar and somehow win? Right? I know Brock started in the WWE, and then, but you know, he's like,
yeah,
like the scariest human being on the planet.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the next match. I believe was Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn, and this is the one I actually remember the least about.
Yeah, same. It is kind of forgettable. The only thing I remember was actually after the match. It was like later in the show. I realized that Scott Steiner was there.
Oh yeah,
I think Rick and Scott were there.
Well, what I remember is pretty much the opening and the ending. That's about it.
That finish, dude. Braun Breaker's spear is unfucking believable.
Yeah,
he gets moving so fucking fast.
I would say he's got the second best spear in wrestling right now.
I mid-show last night, I would have said Braun may have a better spear than Roman. Then, spoiler alert, the end of SummerSlam happened. I'm like, never mind. What the fuck was I talking about?
Yeah, I'm sorry. But Roman Reigns, in my opinion.
He had been gone long enough that I kind of forgot how good his spear was. And then I was like, what the fuck? No, that's a thing of fucking beauty.
His spear, it's just chef's kiss. You can't see me right now, but I'm doing a chef's kiss.
There is, in general, person I think does the spear the best, though.
Let me make a guess.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you told me. Edge? No, I did. No, not Edge. Goldberg?
I'll give you a hint. He doesn't call it a spear.
Oh, Rhino.
Rhino's gore is fucking crazy. It's so good. And he's got those little short T-Rex arms. I don't know how he does it. By the way, I've met Rhino. Great guy. I'm not making fun of him. I think he understands that he has short arms. They are short in person, I have to say.
How tall is he in real life?
He's about my height. A little shorter, I think.
Aren't you supposed to be Aren't you supposed to be about from fingertip to fingertip? Isn't your height? Aren't your arms like from fingertip to fingertip when you spread them out about the same as your height?
They're supposed to be, but he's 5'10". I just looked it up, and there's no fucking way. Hold on, let's see if I can find his wingspan. But
but no, Braun Breaker has a great spear. What?
No breaks. What cut?
No cuts here.
Unless they're cutting in the line at Applebee's. There's no line at Applebee's. Okay, anyways. Jesus Christ. So,
yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the...
I will say, though, about that match, I was not expecting... I mean, I know the whole time, I was like, I think they put the strap on Braun. But that was a small part of me that was like, what if? I was fully expecting Sami to win that match.
I always want Sami Zayn to win, but I understand that, a big part of him being an underdog babyface is him losing a lot.
Yeah. He can't be an undefeated, underdog. That's kind of not how underdogs work.
Right.
So...
let's go and move on to the next match of the night. What was it?
Was that Nia versus...
No, that was one of... Actually, I think it was...
Nia versus Bayley.
No. It was LA Knight versus...
Yes, LA Knight versus
Logan Paul.
Logan piece of shit Paul. I'm keeping that in.
Oh, fair enough.
No, Logan Paul can kiss my ass after the things he said. Never mind. That's political. I don't want to get it. But it just... give it a Google. Fuck that guy. But having said that...
He's an idiot.
Yes. Oh my God. When LA Knight... And you didn't know about this. I told you. When LA Knight, I think on SmackDown, said, listen, I know Logan Paul's head is so empty they're going to build a whole Spirit of Halloween in there. I lost my shit. That was one of the best disses I've ever heard. But having said all of that, holy shit, Logan Paul is talented. God damn it. I don't want to say it, but it's true.
Yeah. I think he is ill-informed about some of the stuff he says.
Yeah.
I don't agree with a lot of his opinions on anything.
Yeah.
But, I've got to give the devil his due. He is really good
at
wrestling.
Springboard off the top, that twisting moonsault. Holy shit. my jaw hit the fucking ground.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I have never, that was insane. I definitely thought, especially with all the Prime like sponsorships and stuff, I was like, no way they're putting LA Knight over. And then they did. I was so excited. LA Knight deserved this win.
Yes, I legitimately thought, especially once they pulled in Machine Gun Kelly, I really thought they were gonna go the way of, oh, he's gonna have the brass knucks on him. He's gonna give them to Logan, and then
he did.
And then he give him to Logan, and then Logan's gonna use them, and then he's gonna cheat to win. And they do kind of make you think that they're gonna go that direction, and then nope.
BFT, dead to rights. Man, that was actually kind of a banger of a match, honestly.
Yeah.
But I've come to unfortunately expect that from the Logan Paul match. I hate to admit. I fucking hate this guy, but this is going to be a banger of a match. And LA Knight, you're not going to go wrong with that guy. So, not match of the night, but a strong contender.
Definitely, I wouldn't say it was the show stealer.
No.
But it was definitely a very solid match. Let's go ahead and move on then to the next match of the night, which I believe was Bayley versus Nia Jax.
Me and Rusty spent the entire match just going, oh, is she going to be injured? Ah, that looked bad. Oh, dear. Oh, rest in peace, Bayley. Oh, God. But we did not expect Nia to go over.
No, I was definitely expecting Bayley to retain.
But she has had issues with injuring people in the past, and we were kind of worried about that. But I will say it seemed like that Bayley was okay.
Yeah, so. There were no real big botches as far as I could tell.
Yeah. No Nia screaming, my hole! I was hoping the entire time, and it never happened.
You might want to explain that. I'm not sure if everyone has seen that clip.
You know what? I'm not going to explain it. Go and Google Nia Jax my hole. I know that sounds bad. Don't worry. It's safe for work. It is very funny. It is very funny. And if it was intentional on Nia's part, I have to be honest, that was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen a wrestler do. I'm not a fan of Nia, but that was funny as fuck. But anyways, we'll
go ahead and move on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
So next match, I believe, was CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee.
Which I will say I was a bit surprised wasn't the main event, but then with the way the main event ended, I understand.
Yeah, you definitely want to leave the Roman return for the very end.
I will say I think the match was a bit lackluster.
It definitely wasn't the explosive, high octane, fast paced match from bell to bell that we were expecting.
I think part of it is special guest referee matches always end up being kind of meh.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
It sure would be a lot better with a quality referee like my friend Jason Ayers.
Have you ever talked about
just name dropping?
I don't think you mentioned on the last episode.
Oh yeah, Jason Ayers. I can't remember which match he refereed last night. He refereed a few matches last night. He's the one who trained me to referee. Great guy, great referee. He's the one that got his face smashed in by Jacob Fatu at the last pay-per-view.
Yes.
He is not the one that did not count to 3 when he should have. So, anyways, so the match, the best part about it was Seth pants. No, listen, it was not a bad match at all. It was just
it was a very story focused match.
yes. There wasn't a lot of.
What do you think of the whole? What do you think of the whole bit with the bracelet from AJ that Punk was so obsessed over?
I mean, that certainly lost him the match. If he hadn't been so obsessed with that bracelet, he wouldn't have lost the match, right? Like that's essentially what they were getting at. Like, I think the bracelet's kind of stupid.
I actually thought it looked kind of cool.
Oh, I know you were going on and on about how you really think that bracelet is cool. It got to the point where I couldn't tell if you were joking or if you were actually.
So for you guys listening at home, we during the match when they started focusing on the bracelet, I started talking pretty much from that point to the end of the match about how much I like the bracelet. And it was a bit, but it was a bit, but in all seriousness, it is a really cool looking bracelet in my opinion.
I still can't tell if he's ribbing. That's the best.
No, I mean, okay, the joke is over, but I do like the bracelet. Fair enough.
I
did talk about it almost incessantly last night.
It's cracking me up. What cut? There's no cuts here.
No cuts at all.
I just realized what that would have done. Anyways, to be honest, I don't really remember a lot about the fucking CM Punk and Drew McIntyre match.
I mean,
except for it was just like.
There was a bit where wasn't there a bit where he went? They got on the announcers table and.
Oh yeah.
By that point, you and I were. I did like near the end of the match when Punk saw Seth wearing his wife's bracelet that she made for Punk. I do like how when Punk got right up in Seth's face about it, and Seth pushed him and was like, "It's not always about you, understand?" And then he hits him with the Seth with the go to sleep. I do really love his response there. It may not always be about me,
but it's never about you, asshole. Oh man, Punk's, in my opinion, fell off a bit in ring, just with age and ring rust. But he has not fallen off on the mic.
Oh, never.
Talking.
Oh, never. He is probably the best talker of his generation.
I concur. Solid match. It's still worth a shot. It's still a great match. It's just like on a card full of fantastic matches, it was a little disappointing. Just a little bit.
I mean, just a little, but I mean, they did a lot to build this match up, and they did it really well.
They did, and oh my God, Drew McIntyre's heel work is next fucking level.
Absolutely.
So somebody at the press, not the press conference, but like a meet and greet before the show, brought a CM Punk jacket to Drew McIntyre to sign, and he literally wrote "fuck CM Punk, cunt." I was like on the jacket, and then signed it. I was like, oh my God, dude. And then I know this is from a different match, but like you can really see the direction that the WWE is headed in. Like last night, Michael Cole said Dominic Mysterio was a piece of shit.
I thought that was Pat McAfee.
Or it might have been Pat. Honestly, you can't control Pat McAfee. It probably was Pat. Like Pat's already rich, and like,
what are you gonna?
what are you gonna do? Fine him? Like, he kind of. I love that about Pat McAfee. I think he's a fantastic commentator, and he's just. You could tell he's a fan.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
he is there because he wants to be.
Exactly, which is refreshing as fuck.
Definitely.
That's in my opinion. That's why Samantha Irvin is so good too, because you could tell she's enjoying herself. She wants to be there.
Absolutely.
Like, if you ever see on TikTok, they do cameras like footage of her watching the matches. You could tell she's like into it. She's like reacting to the moves and like reacting emotionally. Like, that's why it's so fucking cool to watch. It makes for great television.
And at WrestleMania earlier this year, when Cody finally won the title, and when she announced it, you could hear her voice breaking.
Yeah. And even when she announced his name at SummerSlam, like his movements and his energy when she was announcing him, and then like it was kind of like a combined energy that they had. It was incredible.
Absolutely.
So
let's go ahead and move on to the next match. The next one, I believe, was Gunther versus Damian Priest.
I have to say, maybe the match of the night.
You'd think so?
Maybe.
Actually, yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you.
Because while the main event was the best story of the night, clearly, the best pure match of the night, I think has to be Gunther versus Damian Priest.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that, and I know Gunther's chest was already maybe scabbed up or something, but the fact that he made Gunther bleed with chops, dude, Damian Priest solidified himself as a tough motherfucker. Even though he lost, solidified himself as a tough motherfucker. And to be fair, he only lost because of interference.
Yeah, it was a very solid match. Gunther is
I wouldn't say only lost, who knows, but Gunther's a monster, and I cannot wait to see the tear he goes on as heavyweight champion.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be brutal. I fucking love Gunther.
Yeah, we were talking last night. We agreed Gunther has always been really solid even before he came to WWE. But especially since they brought him in, they have really polished him.
Oh, man. I've seen some of his stuff on, so I forget, Santizap. Have you ever heard of Mr. Santizap?
It sounds familiar.
He like reacts to people on the internet are going to be like, of course. He reacts to wrestling and does streams where he watches Raw and SmackDown. He's great. But he does this video series with another wrestling YouTuber where they try not to cringe or like react to like really brutal moments in wrestling. And I cannot tell you the number of times that Walter / Gunther / whatever you want to call him was in it from back before he was in the WWE.
Yeah.
Just being fucking brutal as shit.
Yeah. I absolutely believe that.
But it's crazy to see because he's lost so much weight.
Yeah, he's really trimmed down.
So, but yeah, no, I jumped up and down right here in this room like when Gunther won. I was so excited. The man deserves it. He's an inspiration, and he's one hell of a good heel too.
Yeah, I'm also I'm really excited to see the Finn Balor and Damian Priest feud.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. Hey, I'm here for it if it brings out Demon Finn.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Finn needs to bring the demon back. And with the look on his face at the end of the show, I think that might be where it's going. I could be wrong.
I mean, honestly, it was very reminiscent of Demon Finn Balor.
Demon Finn is best Finn. And they better bring back his old music for it, too.
Right.
Love it. I love doing physical movements during an audio podcast. Anyways, so
do you have anything else you want to say about this match before we move on?
I don't believe so. Just it was solid, and if you haven't seen it, you need to. If you watch everybody's gonna be spoiled on the main event. Everybody knows what happened. It's fantastic, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But if I could pick one match just for the pure match itself that you should go back and watch, it would be Gunther versus Damian Priest.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about the main event.
Holy
Cody
shit.
Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa.
I will say this. I have never been a huge Solo Sikoa fan. He's just... How do I say this? You know what? I don't think he seems as tough as they try to make him. However, he kind of impressed the shit out of me last night. And he sold the hell out of everything.
Oh, definitely.
He did Dolph Ziggler levels of selling last night. It was gorgeous. Takes Batista bomb, explodes. That's still one of my favorite wrestling memes of all time. Anyways, it was amazing, right? Like, they took a long time to bring interference in.
Yeah,
I thought that was an interesting choice. It wasn't like immediately. It almost felt like the match could have ended before that.
Yeah,
Like,
they definitely took their time with it, and I think that definitely helped the match.
it did help because it made both guys look like they had a match already.
Right.
I don't think it took anything away from Solo.
No, I definitely wouldn't say it did.
I mean, if the Bloodline had interfered like right away, we would have been like, oh, Solo can't hang on his own. But props to whoever took his street championship away, because man looks tough last night.
So, you were pretty jazzed to see Jacob Fatu there.
I was. He's unnerving, and I have seen video of him not in character, so I know he's a normal human being in real life. He had me convinced that he's just like kind of unhinged. My man's good at that.
Yeah, he has great facial expressions.
Well, it runs in the family because Roman's. We already talked about his facial expressions last episode.
I do think it was really funny on commentary when he went through the announcer's table and then kind of got up and moved around a little bit and then fell down. And the commentary was selling that like, oh my God, he's out cold.
He hasn't moved. Like, Pat, he was flopping around like a fucking fish. Oh my God, we were thinking that was some of the bits we were doing last night. We were like, oh my God, he hasn't moved. I'm fine.
Oh my God, I think we might need an EMT out here.
Call the coroner. No, really, I'm okay.
I'm okay. Someone check his pulse. I'm gonna be okay, guys.
It's a work. Chill.
No, it's just a work, bro.
I actually don't know. Apparently, he was seen in a walking boot after the show. But to be fair,
I didn't hear about that.
But to be fair, like
he could be.
They have a stockpile of that shit, and specifically for this reason.
Right.
So who knows? But if it is a real injury, a walking boot means it isn't super bad.
Yeah.
So, God, is he so fucking athletic for a guy his size? Holy shit.
So, let's go ahead and talk about the thing we've been waiting for.
Lance Storm!
Yes, Lance.
He made his return last night, guys.
Return of the Lord and Savior himself, Lance Storm.
Wait, let me check my notes real quick. Oh, hey Rusty.
What?
We've made a grave error.
What? Why?
It was Roman, not Lance.
Oh.
I thought it was Lance Storm. It looks so much like him.
I mean, anybody could mistake Roman Reigns for Lance Storm. It's an honest, easy mistake to make.
They're so similar. They're both Canadian. No, you know,
their hair is similar. No.
Oh man, that was good. Okay, no, clearly, fucking Roman Reigns, the biggest pop he's ever gotten, ever.
I was telling you this last night. How many years was Vince working to do what it took Triple H, 3 months to do?
Yeah. Hey, you're getting injured, or you're gonna lose your title. You're gonna be gone. Come back. That's all it took.
I mean, there was a little more to it.
I mean, that's not all. They built him up for
what,
3 fucking years with the championship.
But it took. But I mean, you know, he had to. It took more than that, but that's all they needed from Roman in particular.
Right. He's like, "Oh, you want me to go take a vacation for 3 months?" I mean, I guess.
And then look really mad when you come back.
Dude, oh my god. The fucking... The crazy thing is, I fully expected Roman to get into the ring and stare down Solo. But that is not what happened.
Nope.
He instantly Superman punched him. I was like, oh shit, we're already going. Oh my god. Like, the instant Superman punch was fucking chef's kiss. It was so good.
And then that spear.
That spear. Holy shit. Can you imagine? I was telling you last night, like, you know, before that match, somebody went up to Solo and said, motherfucker, you better sell the shit out of that spear. Because imagine how much air would have been taken out of the entire bloodline, everything, if Solo had like half sold that shit.
He just gets up immediately and forces Roman to spear him again.
Like I said last night, I think at that point Roman would have to be like, all right, now I'm actually going to cut you in half.
I'm actually going to turn into a spear now.
Yeah, like sharpen his head like a fucking cone head. Well,
but yeah,
it was one hell of a holy shit ending.
Oh, definitely. I cannot wait to see where it goes from there.
And Cody, man, he looked like he had adrenaline in his soul. Shit was crazy, man. No, Cody's fucking phenomenal. We didn't spend enough time talking about Cody Rhodes. I mean, in my opinion, the #1 professional wrestler in the world right now. And not just because he's the world champion, but because he's so fucking over.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't feel like the focus was on Cody last night.
It wasn't. But I still think, yeah, even before Roman came out, the attention was still on Roman.
Everybody was waiting for Roman.
Even I was waiting for Roman. But, dude, Cody is fucking phenomenal. Here's a touch that I don't know if you noticed. From the second that Roman, his music hit, by the way, a different version of his music. I couldn't really hear it in the show, but apparently I need to go back and listen. Some people were complaining that they messed up his music, but we'll see. They did a remix or something. And my guess is probably because he's a face now, so they wanted to change it up a little.
Makes sense.
But so I don't know if you noticed this, but from the moment Roman showed up and Cody got up. I mean, when he first showed up, Cody was knocked out, so he couldn't. But from the second that Cody had his attention on Roman, never took his eyes off Roman.
Yeah.
The entire time. He hit the crossroads, kept his eyes on Roman the entire time. That was such a good touch that I don't know if many people noticed, but it was so it just added to the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, it's a small thing, but the small things add up.
Yeah, like we were talking last episode about how Roman's facial features and his facial expression, not his features. Yeah, he's a handsome motherfucker, but that's not what I'm talking about. His facial expressions are like next fucking level.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
And they add, it's just a little thing, but they add to the overall experience. Well, we spent a shit ton of time going over SummerSlam,
One last thing before we switch to our main topic tonight.
of course.
What overall, if you had to give a rating to it?
To SummerSlam overall,
Yes.
are we rating this on best pay-per-view of all time or best SummerSlam?
I would say let's just go 1 to 10.
Okay. So I would give this a solid 8.
8?
I think there was a few matches that were slightly less. They were slightly lackluster.
Less.
I just think there were a few matches that were kind of lackluster. Not bad at all. But I don't know. Honestly, Nia winning kind of
Yeah, that was a
took
bit
the whole
deflating.
pay-per-view down about a peg. Anyways,
Yeah, I would say about an 8, maybe 7.5.
yeah, it was probably the best SummerSlam I have personally watched.
I wouldn't go that far personally. I know I've seen some SummerSlams I like more. I can't think of them off the top of my head though. But who knows? Maybe we can have a whole episode on SummerSlams in the future.
I mean, I could probably go back and find one, but I mean, like the ones that I watched while it was happening. I think it was the best SummerSlam I've watched, like live.
Okay, fair enough there.
I'm not saying it's the best SummerSlam of all time.
Just in terms of ones that you've watched as they aired.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So,
all right, let's go ahead and move on to our. I'm trying to decide final topic, main topic.
yeah, our main topic of the episode.
I mean, we spent quite a bit of time talking about SummerSlam, so I really don't feel as if we can talk about it longer than we did SummerSlam.
That's okay. Yeah, you're right. So I guess it's not the main topic. It's
Yeah,
hey, this is gonna happen sometimes. We'll have a pay-per-view where
Our
we
other
need to
main
talk
topic.
about it. Yeah, our other main topic. That's fine. That's fine. This is there's no set time to this thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's 30 minutes in the recording. We have to stop talking about this and move on.
yeah, we're on a tight deadline.
Yeah, a schedule. Not. But yeah.
All right, so our next.
So wrestling belts are cool.
Yeah, wrestling belts. Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for us.
So I came up with this topic a couple weeks ago. We were supposed to originally do this episode, record this episode last week, but we ended up having to push it off by about a week. So it gave us some more time to talk over this. I came up with the idea of an episode on wrestling belts.
Yeah.
You know, titles are such an important part of wrestling. They're probably the most important props that
Yeah.
you'll see in wrestling.
I started to get disillusioned the other day when I realized that wrestling belts are a lot like money, and that the importance of a wrestling belt is assigned by the belief that they mean something only.
Yeah. You know, I heard somebody once say, I can't remember who, but they're like, when you start a wrestling promotion, starting a world title isn't really that hard. All you have to do is just get a belt made and call it the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about some of our favorite and least favorite title designs over the years.
Okay.
Do you want to start with favorite or least favorite?
Let's go with least favorite.
Okay, so for me, it's the Universal title.
Interesting. That's your least favorite of all time.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
both of them, both the blue and the red. See, to me, the Universal title epitomizes lazy design. Think about it. When you look at, take the red Raw one, for example, that Brock had for the longest time. It just is so lazy. I mean, all it is
it was made by Orange County Choppers, man.
I mean, all it is.
Paul Tuttle designed that thing, man. No, it's not great.
I mean, all it is, when you look at it, the two big features that jump out at you are the big W on the main plate and then the red leather. And the leather is red because it's supposed to symbolize Raw, the color everyone associates with Raw. And then, the side plates, which are customized depending on who's champion at the time.
Yeah.
And all that really tells us when you look at it is, oh, this is the big title for Raw in WWE.
Yeah.
And it's just the epitome, in my opinion, of just lazy design. I remember when they unveiled it at, I believe it was actually SummerSlam a few years back.
Yeah.
It was a match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor.
Yep.
And when they unveiled the title,
it was so bad that Finn got injured.
It was so bad. Well, it was so bad that the crowd kind of ruined the match because they kept chanting about how much they hated the title. They kept saying starting chants like, "That belt sucks. That belt sucks." It's so ugly, and the SmackDown variant's the same, except it's got blue leather.
That makes it a lot better, man. It's blue, though.
I just can't get over just how lazy.
Okay, so my question for you is: then they got rid of the red and black, or the red and blue, and they made the WWE champion the same belt but black. Do you think it's better with the black leather?
I think it's a step up. I think it's a step in the right direction, but I still think you need to get rid of that big W in the center.
I mostly agree. I actually don't hate it that much. I will say I think the new Universal Championship, which is essentially just the same thing but with like a hammered gold background.
Now, are you talking about the undisputed title that Cody has?
Yes.
Okay.
It's essentially the same thing with like a hammered gold background in the back. I actually kind of like it.
Like I said, it is a step in the right direction. I think that they're onto something now. It doesn't have like that gimmicky like red and blue leather on it. It actually had the main plate actually has a background of like hammered gold rather than just black on it.
Yeah.
The W isn't on a field of black in the main plate anymore like it used to.
Right.
But that big W is still there. I mean, you and I were actually talking about this the other day, and you said that, it's a branding reason is why they keep that big W on there. But to me, if the design is good enough, it'll become iconic on its own.
I totally agree with you.
Look at my personal favorite design, the big gold belt, used in WCW and Raw after the initial brand split, I believe. Or the second?
Do you know who the last person to hold the big gold belt in WCW was?
Off the top of my head, no.
Ron Simmons.
Really?
Damn.
No, I didn't know that.
I was just watching a video the other day. I consume so much wrestling media, it's stupid. Anyways, and I'll watch lists of like obscure shit.
Yeah, honestly, it's the obscure stuff I love to learn about. But I think that the undisputed title is definitely a step in the right direction, but it's still just so awful. And well, I mean, it's not. Awful's too harsh a word for it now, but
Yeah.
that initial design.
The red and blue ones were truly terrible.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if it's my least favorite. We'll get into that. I'll have to think about it. So I've been thinking about it while you're talking. So your personal favorite is the big gold belt.
Yes, that's probably at least in terms of world titles. That's what I think it's fair to say it's probably my favorite of all time.
Fair enough.
To me, that's it. It looks. I keep saying the word epitomizes. I'm trying to avoid using that word so much.
We get it. You're fucking smart. God.
I have a word of the day calendar.
Oh man.
But
what the fuck?
To me, the big gold belt proves what I'm talking about, though, of how you don't need it to be an advertisement for the company's logo for it to be iconic.
Yeah.
You show any wrestling fans a picture of the big gold belt, they'll recognize it instantly.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, maybe we should move on to... Well, I'd say my least and most favorites, but honestly, I don't really have a least favorite. It's hard to explain. I can't really decide. My least favorite is probably actually the 24/7 championship. It was such a cheap championship. And I mean that sometimes a fucking celebrity would hold it for no fucking reason.
It looks like it was made to sell toy replicas.
It 100% was. Yeah, that's the 24/7. It had a fitting end when it was supposed to be dumped into a trash can, and even that flopped. Nikki Cross treated that championship exactly. Now, I will say this. It gave us fucking fantastic moments with CM Punk? Yeah, CM Punk. No, R-Truth. Truth. Without R-Truth, that really would have been a whole wasted...
He really carried it.
He did. R-Truth was the 24/7 championship. And while I love R-Truth, what a stupid championship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And truth be told, the belt itself wasn't
And R-Truth be told.
The whole truth. Truth. R-Truth be told, God damn it. Now I'm rambling. The championship itself wasn't too ugly.
Yeah.
It was definitely still my least favorite championship of all time, but even it would have been cool to hold.
Yeah.
To actually be the champion, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Just because you could say that you were a WWE champion at one point. You don't have to say it was the 24/7 champion.
I'm tapping my head right now.
So I have two favorites. One of them is gonna be controversial because I know it's widely fucking hated.
Ooh, I'm rubbing my hand
because I think you know where this is going.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. You told me this last night.
Listen, the spinning championship was dope. It was dope. I understand why people hate it. I do, but I loved it, and also it was literally worth the most of any championship ever.
It looked like it had the most gold and jewels on
right.
it.
So I feel like when you won it, you were like, I want a fucking prize.
Yeah.
I'm holding this fuck. Any other belt just looks like a thin plate of metal to me. And the spinner championship, man, that shit was cool. And it had a $4,000 Japanese skateboard bearing. A really, really, really good bearing in it.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary when they came out with it. about like the making of it, and it was sick. I think that's really what sold me on it. I was like, that thing's dope.
You know, honestly, I think the big reason a lot of people hate the spinner belt so much is because it's so heavily associated with John Cena.
Yeah, but I feel like people are sweet on John Cena again. So I feel like maybe people will look back and be like, Spinner is dope.
But what I mean is, you know, at the time, a lot of people hated John Cena. Yeah. I mean, it was not okay to like John Cena back then. And because because the spinner belt was originally introduced as a custom title for John Cena after he won it from JBL. Sorry.
As I call him, Jibble.
Jibble. As from JBL.
Maggle Cole. Maggle. Anyways.
So because of that, they never really switched it back to the main title.
No.
Even like years later when JBL won it again.
Yeah, he just carried around the spinner. So I'm not gonna lie, Edge made it his own. The whole Redditor spinner was cool. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the regular spinner championship, but it was cool that he made it his own. I will also say the Miz winning it and like fixing it upside down to where it's an M. That was a cool touch.
That was a very
cool touch. I have to be honest, but I don't know. I love it. I love it. I loved the spinner championship so much that I wore it into the ring. We talked about that last episode.
We did. Watch the episode 1 of the We Love Wrestling podcast. Yes,
watch it. Watch the audio only.
Listen to it. If you've already listened to it, listen to it again.
Yeah.
Or if you've already listened to it twice, listen to it 3 times.
Yeah. I concur.
Keep listening.
Just never stop listening to our podcast on.
Always repeat. Have it in the background.
Yeah. Here. Listen to the sound of my voice while I sing you some smooth jazz. All right, that's enough of that.
Do you like jazz?
Do you like jazz? All right.
B movie.
Oh, it was more of a D movie. But anyways. My other, I don't know. I have to say, currently, I fucking love the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it is beautiful. I think that is by...
You mean the current World Championship?
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's my favorite of all time, but it's close. I love it. I don't know why. I think it's gorgeous. But I think the current best championship is the Intercontinental. I love the Intercontinental Championship. It looks like the old Lucha Underground Championship, and I think that was intentional. I think Ricochet helped design the current Intercontinental Championship, and as he was in Lucha Underground, I think that had some inspiration to it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I definitely really like that design for the Intercontinental title, but I would say it's not my personal favorite design for it.
Interesting. Which one was the blue belt?
Yes, the blue one.
Yeah, I knew what you were going. I love the blue belt.
The one, it had like the little center. It was kind of like the oval shaped and had the earth with the little blue specks on it.
Yeah, it was very cool. I can't lie. I liked the blue Intercontinental Championship, but I think the current one's better, in my opinion.
Well, you're allowed to be wrong.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You have my permission.
And you have.
He just pulled out a spoon.
Yeah, I found a tiny spoon. It's like a definitely not cocaine spoon. Like, no, I'm leaving that in. All right, no, I'm joking. Okay. Yeah. God damn it. Son of a... Boy, I'll tell you what, Rusty, there are absolutely no utts in this episode. Oh, man. I hope that works out nicely. All right.
So, what's your favorite personalized title?
Ooh. That's a good question. Probably the Spinner WWE Championship.
Yeah,
No, the touch that Miz did to turn the. It's such a simple thing, but to turn the spinner upside down to beat him for Miz, that's so good. But
mine's I'm not sure how hot of a take this is or not. You liked it because it was you liked the Miz's because it was such a subtle change, right?
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a small, subtle change. I'm gonna go all the way on the other end of the spectrum over here, and I'm gonna say the $1 Million Championship because I know
There's
it's so
fucking nothing subtle about it.
it's so over the top and so gaudy,
It's so good though.
but it's so good.
It's
so iconic.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last $1 Million champion was Cody Rhodes, wasn't it? $1 Million Championship.
Yeah, that's my personal favorite customized title. And you just got done looking it up. Who had the $1 Million Championship last?
Yeah,
You said it was Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes. Apparently, this is before Ted DiBiase left WWE, and if Cameron Grimes had lost, he would have become LA Knight's butler. I don't remember this genre of NXT. So I've never been big into Cameron Grimes either. I don't know. I don't get it.
I think he's a pretty solid in-ring worker, but that's about all I can really say.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen any segments with him doing any mic work or anything.
I'm curious about tag championships. What would you say is your favorite tag championship?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I kind of reverse your opinion on the Universal Championship on this one. I think the current tag championships where they're red and blue, I think they should get rid of the red and blue. But the copper, before they did the red and blue, the tag championships were black with a copper.
Yeah.
I think they look awesome.
Yeah, those actually look really nice.
I actually think they may be my favorite tag championships because before, the tag championships kind of just look like all of the other belts. My only gripe with the big gold belt is that unless you really get a close-up shot of the belt, it kind of just looks like a blob of gold.
I mean,
I'm going to get hate for that, aren't I?
I mean, I think it's honestly, I think that kind of works in its favor in a way that I can't really put to words. The fact that you have to get close to it to really appreciate the craftsmanship.
That's an interesting observation.
Because it does have a bunch of really intricate designs on it when you look at pictures of it.
Right.
But yeah, I will admit that once you get farther away from it, though, depending on your eyesight, it does, after a bit, just kind of look like just a belt.
Yeah.
Just a
and
generic.
A big fucking belt.
A big gold belt, if you would.
Yeah, that's why they call it the big gold belt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Words Mean Things with Josh and Rusty.
So what is your favorite tag championship?
Oh, that's a tough one. I can't really think of any off the top of my head, if I'm being entirely honest.
That's fair. That's fair.
But the ones you mentioned, the black leather with the copper center, those were pretty good.
Best Intercontinental Championship of all time.
Well, I have already made my opinion very clear on this. The one introduced during the Ruthless Aggression era with the world on it and the blue specs.
I don't know why I didn't think about this when we were talking, which is why I just asked a question that we've already answered. But it leads me to remember the white belt that Cody brought back, and honestly, it's gorgeous.
Yes, that is probably my second favorite design.
Yeah, and Cody, during his first run with the company, brought that back when he became the Intercontinental Champion. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was so good.
Yes, I definitely remember.
It was so good, and like everybody was like, "Thank you, Cody," because I don't remember what it was before that. I think it was still the like globe one that you like.
Yeah,
I think it while it was a great belt, I think it needed a change.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do it every few years. You got to update the belt.
And I think that white championship was the championship up until the current iteration, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
What's your opinion on the Spinner US Championship?
I actually really like it.
I know, I did too. It was actually pretty cool looking. It was very, as the kids called it in the day, blinged out.
It was hip.
It was very hip.
Hip with the kids.
A hip hop, hippity. No. No, we're not cutting that out. We're going to show on this.
Homework's whack and so are rules. Tuck it in your shirts for fools.
Favorite women's championship. I think the current ones work really well.
I have to
be honest.
I would have to agree with you.
The big W is stupid. I feel you, but like the current is it SmackDown that has the not big W championship? They all still have big W's on them, but you know what I mean.
I mean, every other, at least for WWE, every other design for the women's titles have just been so boring, other than the modern iterations we currently have.
We're not going to fucking talk about the Divas Championship, right? We're just going to leave that out.
Oh, the one that looks like
a fucking butterfly?
Yeah.
That was so bad.
It was pretty lame.
Oh my god. Like, let's fight brutally over this butterfly belt. Like, oh my god. That it really embodied the attitude towards women's wrestling at the time.
Oh, definitely.
So when they got rid of that, and then the 4 horsewomen saved women's wrestling.
You mean Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah. No. Not at all. Oh, kind of. She was in charge of it, I think, which really helped out. But I mean, when Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch fucking just changed the entire face of women's wrestling.
Yeah. It definitely wouldn't
Such a good moment.
It definitely wouldn't have. Well, it might have still came about, the women's revolution, without them, but it wouldn't have. It probably would have been set back by a few years and wouldn't have happened in the same way it did.
It would have been a slower transition, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
And those 4 kind of. God, I remember some of the matches between Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah, their Iron Woman match on NXT.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah, have you seen their Iron Woman match on NXT?
It was unbelievable. It was by far the best women's match I've ever seen in my entire life.
You know what?
And it really set the tone for like.
I don't know, the match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Oh my! When she won, oh man, you're not wrong. That was. I've never been a huge fan of Charlotte Flair, but god damn, did they tear the absolute house down. And the passing of the torch from Charlotte to Rhea, because I really feel like that was a passing of the torch moment.
Oh, absolutely.
I like how we were supposed to be talking about the women's belts, and now we're just talking about matches.
I mean, it's hard to talk about belts without talking about the matches associated with them. In a weird way, the matches are kind of what give them value.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, speaking of belts, I think the other reason the Spinner Championship was my favorite is because think about any of the other belts. Of all, which is the one championship you'd least want to be hit over the fucking head with?
Obviously, the biggest, heaviest
exactly. And if you hit your opponent just right across the forehead with it, it starts spinning.
Which doesn't really mean anything, but it does visually look nice.
What happens if blood gets in the bearings, though?
It probably makes it harder for it to spin, I imagine. Maybe that's why it stopped spinning after a few years.
Yeah, I don't understand why they kept the spinner but just made it stop spinning. That didn't make any sense to me. Maybe they got tired of replacing the $4,000 Japanese bearings in it.
Yeah, probably.
But it had a real skateboard bearing, which means the original spinner, if you would have spun it and just held it still, I bet it would go for fucking ever. That would have been like, I have a replica, but there's no bearing in it. It kind of just spins for a few seconds and stops.
Yeah, my parents got me one like that when I was a kid. And
like the foam and plastic one?
Yeah, and it would spin for probably 3 seconds after you started spinning it.
Yeah. It still made you feel fucking cool, though.
Yeah, true.
See, that's what I'm saying, you know? And that's the other thing. Like, you buy the replica and it's interactive. Like, if you hang up these belts on the wall, all the other belts, people are just going to be like, oh, cool. But the spinner, they're going to be like, you know, like, they're going to look around and be like, I got to spin it, right? Like,
I can't not
spin this thing. Like, you know. I don't know. I was also a big fan of spinning rims. So I guess that also had something to do with it. Not now. Actually, I kind of like it probably still.
Well, I won't think any less of you.
I know it's gaudy. I get it. If it's done right, it looks cool. Anyways, there are absolutely no cuts.
None. 0. All right, well, I can't think of any other titles I want to talk about for now. We could always do a second one sometime, a second part on titles at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to update this too if they come out with new belts too.
Oh, definitely.
Or at least just kind of mention it in episodes.
You know, I was trying so hard to avoid epitomize earlier. Now I'm realizing I've done definitely a lot.
Definitely, yeah. You definitely epitomized this episode about title belts. Definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely... Bye.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening. Keep in mind, you can go to wolfgarprops.com. That's WULFGAR props.com for all your nerds / cosplay / movie props needs, anything like that. They have over like 500 products, and they do custom made things. So if you use the code NERDDAD, if you use the code NERDDAD5 off, that's NERDDAD 5 off, you get 5% off your purchase. Other than that, thank you all for listening. I've been your host, Josh Edwards.
And I'm your co-host, Rusty.
And we thank you for listening, and catch us in 2 weeks.
Bye. I guess.
Bye. I get the last word.
Oh. I'm Josh.
God damn it.